Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Joey. Joey is from Boston in the USA. So let's see what Joey has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, I'm very well. How are you doing today, Joe?
I'm pretty good, thank you. How about you?
Very well. It's been a long day in London. It's kind of a little bit cold. You know the fall, yeah. It's a bit
Yeah,
cold. Sometimes a bit warm. You don't know which coat to take in the morning because you don't know what's going on the day. So yeah, but it's been cool.
similar here. So very similar here.
Yeah,
Oh yes, very chilly.
the same. So tell me where you're from.
I live in Boston, Massachusetts.
Okay, and that's the place where you're born and raised.
No, I was born and raised in Maine, little north of here, near the Canadian border,
Mm-hmm.
and little town called Vassaboro.
I see. And why the move from Maine to Boston?
It just sort of happened. I went to school in southern Massachusetts, and I moved around a little bit in the Northeast, Vermont, New Hampshire, and then eventually I wanted like a little more of a city aspect, and Boston is sort of like a little big city. So I moved to Boston.
And how long have you been living there for?
I've been here off and on since 2004, so almost 20 years. I did about a year in South Beach, Miami.
I'm just asking you that because I've been in Boston actually in 2016. I was in Boston. Yeah, so I was visiting a friend in Montreal in Canada, and
Yep.
so another friend of mine met me in Canada, and we drove all the way from Montreal to Boston,
Oh, sure.
to Cape Cod. So we kind of was exploring around.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Joe, so tell me, what do you do for a living?
I'm a housing case manager. There's helped start a program with a nonprofit organization called Housing is Healthcare, and it's designed to house the people from a community that's like a tent city. So people who with chronic homelessness and substance use disorders.
I see. And what's the most interesting thing about your job? What do you like the most about it?
I like working with people. I like helping people work on their goals, and I enjoy getting to know people and getting to know this community.
I see. Right. Just double check something with you. Am I saying your name Joe or Joey?
Joey.
Joey. I always get wrong. Sometimes I think it's Joe, and the people go like, "No, it's Joey." I'd say Joey. They say, "No, it's Joe."
It's Joe's fine too, but yeah, I think most people will just call me Joey.
Amazing. Okay, Joey. So before we start our journey, Will in the Magic Box, I would you like to tell me something interesting about yourself?
Interesting about myself. I was born with cystic fibrosis, and growing up, the life expectancy was pretty low. So as I've gotten older, the life expectancy has grown with me, and currently it's at the highest it's ever been. It's been around like 55, but I have faith that it's going to continue to keep getting up there.
Wow. I'm sure it will. So can you talk? Is it okay to talk about it?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this thing. Tell me a little bit. Explain a little bit more. Is something that you were born there, like that, to have that?
Yeah, cystic fibrosis is a genetic disease, and people can carriers, and when a mother and a father, or whoever the biological parents are, both have the gene, there's a higher chance that you may get cystic fibrosis. And cystic fibrosis is a disease that causes a lot of chaos in the body, but especially the respiratory and digestive systems. And it creates a lot of mucus, and that thick mucus in the lungs catches everything. So it catches, pneumonia and all kinds of viruses and bacteria. And a lot of people with cystic fibrosis end up on lung transplant lists. And unfortunately, a lot of kids with cystic fibrosis die. One point, I think right around the time when I was born, right before, they were still figuring out what this disease was. So it was sort of like, it was unknown. And children were dying with, some sort of respiratory disease. And then finally in the early 80s, end of the 70s, early 80s, they finally found the gene and were able to label it cystic fibrosis. And very recently, 2020, end of 2019, 2020, they came up with a new drug, a new medication that has basically you take a couple pills a day, and it stops the gene from working almost, so that it's like people with cystic fibrosis have various reactions to the disease, mild to severe. But with this new drug, it really helps most people, not everybody, but most people with cystic fibrosis function better than they've been able to before. Lung functions are way up. People are gaining weight, with the digestive problems that people with cystic fibrosis have. There's a lot of malnutrition. People have problems gaining weight, absorbing fats and stuff. And so with this new drug, people are able to, go about their daily lives. So it's been a game changer for people with CF.
See, wow! Thanks so much for sharing that. Thanks so much for sharing. I literally never heard of it. And again, I think I'm sure that when you share something like that, I'm sure maybe people watching the interview, they are getting educated and might know other people as well involved. And it's always good to, to share information. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Joey, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Yes, so excited.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best friend. Full of random fun questions. I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to move a little bit before the first question. Okay, let's do it. Look at you, good answer. Joey, during the journey, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Okay.
First question for you is, how would your best friends describe yourself?
They describe me as outgoing, flirtatious. I think they would describe me as super cool and motivated.
Wow. And saying that, what's the biggest difference between both of you, and what's the biggest similarity between you and your best friends?
I think the biggest comparison would be that we are all working to better ourselves, that we're working on common goals to create more fulfilling lives for ourselves. I think the difference between me and probably my best friend is maybe has to do with knowing ourselves. I feel like and feeling confident in who we are.
All right. And your best friends, they live as well in Boston?
Yes, they are.
Good.
They're Boston. They're in Boston.
Next question. Let's do it. Next question for you is, what made you laugh this week or this month? Something very funny.
Something very funny. Uh, uh, a friend of mine went to a club and it was like it was a kink and fetish club. And she was dancing on the dance floor, and when she got off, she realized there was something very sticky on her, and she wasn't totally sure what it was, but she had a feeling it might have been something, that you don't want to find on yourself in public. And she had to, but the funny part about it was she had just like such a good attitude about it. She was just like, this is what happened to me, and most of my gay male friends were envious, to say the least.
Oh my God, for her, imagine her reaction. I mean, in a way.
She was like, I don't know. I think I would have been a little more pissed off, but she was like, come on, probably, unfortunately some people are, have to feel like they have to put up with stuff, or not put up with stuff like that, but it happens to them more than it would to other people. So, making a joke out of it is probably better than I don't know. I don't know.
I can see her watch the interview. She goes like, "Oh my God, I can't believe he just said that." I'm glad you didn't say her name.
I would never. Yeah. Well, maybe I would, but
good, very good.
It's her story, yeah.
Next question. Okay, Joey from Boston. Before the next question, tell me. I was checking your profile actually, and I saw a few pictures of you in Brazil. I saw a flag as well be in one of your pictures, Brazilian flag. So tell me a little bit about your connection with Brazil.
My boyfriend is from Brazil. He moved up here when he was a kid. So he took me to Rio earlier this year, showed me around. We're already planning our second trip. So I love Brazil.
Wow. So tell me, what was the best part about Rio de Janeiro? Tell me the first impression when you arrived there in that beautiful city.
Oh my God, the mountains, that breathtaking, I think, very famous view of, Ipanema and the mountains in the background it's breathtaking, and it's you see in pictures, but to be there, there's nothing like it. I don't know if I've been to. You've been?
Actually, the part I've been there. I lived there for 6 months. Actually, I'm from the northwest of Brazil. It's like 2 hours by plane from Rio. It's a state called Mato Grosso, near Brasilia, the capital. And I was living in Portugal in 2007, actually. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna go to Rio for 6 months. And I tell you something, what experience, even for a Brazilian person from another state to live in Rio, it's like, wow, my goodness. It's a beautiful city. As you know, you can see, the modern high buildings. You can see the beach, you can see lake, you can see the mountains. It's just everything in one place. Yeah. It's so magical.
It's magical, yeah.
Yeah, and I've been with friends as well before that, and after that as well, with friends from Europe. And I remember also one of my ex-boyfriend, we were on the top of the Christ, and was like sunset. And he said, William, I've been so many places around the world, but this moment right now here in the Christ, looking that view, it's something that I'll never forget. So yeah.
The view from the Christ was incredible. And it was so windy. It's probably typically windy there, but it was so windy. It was magical. And also the gyms, we went to the gym every day, and the gym was just like incredible sight at the gyms. We had a good time there.
Next question for you is, what is the most memorable lesson you've learned from your parents?
Um, from my parents, I learned that, well, from my mother, my mother was, uh, my mother was married 4 times, and she went through a lot of heartbreak, but she also raised us kids throughout it all. She never gave up, and I think that takes, uh, I think that really, that put an impression on me, like, that's what life is. Life is, continuing to look for love, continuing to not give up on your kids, on your life, on, education in whatever kind of form that is, whether it's institutionalized education or just, learning about spirituality or the land where you live, the people around you, your rights. And I also, my biological father wasn't present at all while I was growing up. And from him, I really learned how to forgive and to not hold on to resentments. And it took a while because I did, and over the course of my life, I've recognized, this horrible situation where a father leaves, ghosts. You can take that, and I can allow myself to suffer from that, and I did. And you can look at it and think about how you want to treat people and how you want to move forward with life and what you want to take from those experiences. So where my mother was, always there for us, even throughout, a lot of trauma, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of, anxiety with money and whatnot. My biological father was the opposite, but I got so much from both of those people and both of those experiences and relationships with them.
Oh, you know what, Joey, when we see our parents, like, as you said, going through tough moments, and also, they're like living by day to raise us, I think somehow it makes us stronger as well and make us understand life in a different way when you turn adults, you know what I mean? Somehow you know how to appreciate things in life. You appreciate more when you grow up, because based on that events that when we saw our parents literally struggling, you know what I mean? Like day by day, they're living by day to raise us, to give us a good life.
100%. I agree.
Next question, let's do it. Hey, Joey, next question for you is, what is your spirit animal?
My spirit animal is, it's probably a cat.
Tell me why.
I don't know. I really like cats. I have a black cat. He is, I just think that's who I don't know. I feel like, if it's not a cat, it's probably a fish. I definitely like if there's a possibility that once we die, we can come back as a different creature, or whatever. I would really like to come back as like a cat or any sort of water being, a fish, a shark, a whale. I think living in the ocean would be just like the bomb.
Wow, amazing. Next one, let's do it. Okay, Joey from Boston. Next question is, if you could have been a moment or event in history, which one that would be and why?
Event in history, a moment. Oh my God, I would have loved to be there for, I would have loved to fight the Nazis. I would have loved to be there when Martin Luther King Jr. gave his "I Have a Dream" speech. I would, I think it would have been really amazing slash difficult and scary, but really amazing to be at the forefront of these big civil rights movements that, Stonewall. It would have been amazing to be on the front lines of any of these huge points in our history that were turning points for civil rights movements. We're so, I think this a lot, how lucky we all are to be alive during 2022, because any other time in the human history would have sucked. It would have sucked. I have all kinds of privileges, and as humans in America and the UK, I think we all have definitely some more privileges and rights than other countries in this world. But really, any other time, whether you're a person of color, a woman, someone who's LGBTQA, like, our lives would have been significantly worse, So I don't know. The only way to have really enjoyed an experience would have been to be fighting for what's right, and so yeah, I guess those things,
Yes, I think actually, I think we are so privileged, as you said, to be, right now. But at the same time as well, I think we should always be grateful for those people because they literally gave their lives. You know what I mean? For us to be comfortable where we are right now, that we can be ourselves. You know what I mean?
100%.
In a way. My goodness, they were there in the front line. You know what I mean? Like, stand up for whatever as you said about the gay right, everything. They were literally stand up there, and it wasn't easy at the time. It's not easy right now. Imagine at the time. You know what I mean? A lot of them got killed. A lot of them, they went to prison, to jail. A lot of things happened to them. And I think we always should be grateful for that people, because, without them, maybe we would never be the position we are right now. Do you know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. These so many people from, any of the minorities, any of these minorities really made it possible for you and I to be having this conversation, and
yes,
and enjoying, for the most part, the lives that we've been given. So you're totally right. The majority of the people who fought for our rights are dead, and a lot of them never got to enjoy this comfortable life that they've created for us, that they've helped, fight for us. So it's super important to me to remember that, and to hope that had I been alive during those big moments, I would have been with those people, with the fighters, with with the people who made this possible.
Absolutely. Cool. Next question, Joey. Let's do it. See your Brazilian moves, your samba. Did you learn some dance a little bit in Brazil when you were there?
Didn't go dancing at all in Brazil. We're day people, and so I wake up every day. I wake up around 6 a.m. and even on vacation, I'm up at 6. I want to get my coffee and I want to go to the beach. And so I did a lot of wave dancing. I'd be in the ocean and just messing with the waves, but we didn't go out at all. We didn't go out. We went to Casablanca. No, not Casablanca. Copacabana. We went to that hotel for dinner, and that was beautiful. And we'd walk around a bit or bike around, but I don't go out dancing anymore.
Before the next question, Joey, tell me, how was growing up as a gay boy? Did you have some support of your family? How was it? And also, at the same time, tell me, how is being gay in Boston? Do you feel safe? Do you feel you truly how things are in Boston relate to that.
Yeah, sure. So growing up, I growing up wasn't too bad actually. I grew up in Maine and in a community that I think sort of craved diversity. Um, my mom was very had good instincts, and I think she knew from like even before I came out, she knew I was gay, um, and I was sexual very young, and I got caught a few times playing with other boys my age, and she'd have. I remember this conversation with her. I was going to the YMCA, and I went home with a couple these brothers that were around my age, and I don't know how it happened or how we knew how to do it, but we were, started having a sexual experience together, and their dad caught us and called my mom. And I remember being in the car with my mom on the way home and terrified, just like so embarrassed and so nervous and didn't know what was going on. And she was driving, and I remember her just saying, like, we've all experimented. Everyone does this. I've had experiences like this. There's nothing wrong with you. Everything's going to be. I think she was nervous as hell too, because late 80s. I don't know, but yeah. So I just remember being in the car, and after that, I remember the experience of she doesn't hate me. Can't be that bad, And there were a couple other experiences where she had to deal with, me finding out that I, was still on this road of homosexuality. Once she found a letter, I wrote a love letter to a boy, and she found it, and I remember her being just like, that was dealt a little differently. She was just like, I'm just really nervous for you. She, is of a certain age that she went through the AIDS epidemic. So she saw, all these gay trans men dying. And I think, for a parent, for my mom anyway, she wasn't afraid of necessarily a gay son, or she didn't hate me for being gay. She was just terrified that the landscape of being gay looked like you got AIDS and you died, right? So I think there was a little bit of that too. But that was in my early teens, and since then, she's super supportive. She loves, I bring my boyfriend home for holidays. She treats him like he's one of the family. She votes for gay rights. The whole family is very supportive. And growing up in my school, they were all super supportive. I think there was an element of, early 90s MTV. We want diversity. We don't, we want to know more about everyone else. There was The Real World, which was a television show going on in the 90s. So that sort of brought in elements of, we're putting a bunch of people together and see what happens. So when I came out as gay or bi and then gay, they were all very excited to have a gay friend, and to, they all knew me before I came out as gay. So the experience was, well, he's still our friend, but now he's cooler because he's gay. So I don't know, and here in Boston, I've been out the whole time I've been here in Boston. I'm 41, and I definitely present, look-wise, I present as on the more masculine / straight spectrum of, I wear, when I'm working, I wear, sort of my work clothes, but when I'm free outside of work, I like to play around with clothing. I like colors and I like patterns and I like, material, like different materials. So I'm cool with my personal flair, but I still, I'm 6 foot, I'm covered in tattoos, bald, scruff, I'm very fit. So I don't necessarily have a problem in Boston being a gay cis male, white male, but like, I understand and I respect that like other people in our community do still have a lot of problems being who they are, whether they're gay or trans or bi, so I try to support those members of our community the best I can. Um, I hate, I don't hate, I just, I try to stay away from ever, you know, outwardly telling people that, I'm masculine. I don't care, the reality is I look like this, but, the other reality is that it's totally okay to be femme. It's totally great to be verse. It's wonderful to just be, to try to be as close to your authentic self as you feel you can be in a safe and healthy manner. So yeah, when I'm looking for friends and partners and whatever, I don't I'm not really necessarily looking for any one specific thing. I like a variety of people in my life.
Amazing. Very good. Next question is, what is the strangest or the funniest gift have you ever received?
Oh, I got a haunted doll. I I was in Miami Beach minding my business and a box appeared on my doorstep. And inside, I'll send you a picture after, but I got this wacky, creepy doll. Creepy doll. And I can't remember what the note is. I'll see if I can find the note. But it was basically like, this is Peggy. She's your problem now. And I was like, what the fuck? And she stayed with me for a little while, creeped me out, but became like, I just took her in. I was like, okay, this doll is mine now. But yeah, so then I was like, I don't know exactly who this was, who got me this, or who sent me this doll, but I started sending other people haunted dolls. I'd find haunted dolls on eBay, Etsy, wherever. And if I had a friend who had a birthday coming up, and I haven't done it in a while, but maybe I should start doing this again, or an anniversary or a celebration coming up, I casually get them to tell me their address, or I some of them are my good friends, and I'd go find a haunted doll on one of those sites, and I'd send it to them, and a lot of them really liked it. There are a couple people who I think are still a little mad at me for sending them a haunted doll.
It's my birthday next week. I'm gonna send my address so you can send one to me.
I'll send you a haunted doll. I'll send you a fucking haunted doll. They're so creepy. Oh my god! And they're all over. Who knows if they're really haunted? I choose to believe they are, but they're all over. They're all over online, and they're just so creepy.
Okay, I'll send you my address in a minute. Okay. 3 questions left for you, Joey. Let's do it.
Okay.
Next question is, if you could go anywhere in the world right now, where would you go and why?
I want to be on a beach today. I would really love to be on a beach. I don't know. I think I would go to. I feel like today I would go to like Puerto Vallarta, someplace basic that I already know. I'm familiar with Puerto Vallarta. So I wouldn't have to do much in terms of learning about it, but I do like traveling, and I do really enjoy finding out more about cities. But today, I just want to be on a beach in Puerto Vallarta.
Wow. Actually, I had to think two or three guests on the show from there, actually. I think, if not wrong. Yeah. I never, actually, that's the fun thing about the Magic Box. I learn a lot, you know, so many people around the world. And I never heard the place before I started doing the Magic Box. I remember my first guest from there. He was American, but I think he was living there. I don't remember, but he was telling me about it. He was so excited. I was like, wow, what a place, a very gay place. A lot of people go there. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to put in my bucket list this place to visit one day for sure.
Good.
Thanks to the Magic Box.
Yes, thank you, Matchbox.
2 questions left for you. Let's do it. Look at you. Good answer. Right. Next question for you is, good one. If you're not yourself, would you like to be yourself, and why?
Yeah. If I wasn't myself and I could choose anybody to be, I would definitely like to be a surfer. I would really, yeah. If I can't be myself, I'm gonna be a surfer. But if I could be myself, I guess I would be myself. I guess I would. I have to be myself. But if I get to choose, why not be like a surfer, someone who just lives on the beach, maybe lifeguards a little bit here and there, travels to other beaches and surfs, maybe has like a little beach garden, takes in all the stray cats and tends to the cats, has like a herd of cats, and they just like walk around town, and everyone knows me as the surfer beach bum. That's who I'm gonna be.
Perfect life.
Perfect. Cats and waves, man. Hang loose.
Ready for the last one?
Yeah.
Last question. Let's do it. But before the last question, on your profile, it said there, I do magic, I like tricks. What do you mean by that?
I like magic. I do magic. I like tricks. That's so funny. I forgot I put that. I put that a long time ago. Well, I put that there because I used to be an escort. So I did sex work for a long time, off and on. For a while, it was I didn't tell people. I was doing it like under, in secrecy, and it was sort of like I felt like for a lot of people and for myself, when I first started doing it, there's a lot of like sort of stigma attached to it. There still is. There's stigma attached. I was maybe a little shamed that I was doing it, even though I was finding a lot of pleasure in it. And so I remember that line, I do magic, I like tricks, was sort of like my secret, like shout out to who I was, and over time, I started, relishing the fact that that's who I was. It sort of became like me being I used to call myself the hooker with a heart of gold. I, took that as like, that was who I was. That was my personality, this escort, this sex worker. And until it didn't, being a sex worker eventually was just not in line with who I was becoming. So, I transitioned into advocacy for sex workers, and people who were being exploited. And now I don't do sex work at all. Instead, a lot of my clients unfortunately have been sexually exploited, and we work or trafficked, and so I help them to manage life, this life, and I help them to find experts and professionals who can help them with whatever sex work they feel like they have to do or they want to do, and any sort of exploitation or trafficking that they've been involved, have unfortunately had placed on them. So I think I still do magic, and I think I still like the tricks that I do. I think now it's a little differently. Now I consider myself more of like a fixer. So a lot of my clients are up against great barriers when it comes to housing and the legal system and sex and drugs, and I'm there for them when they need help with something, or like, it's kind of impossible to get housing if you don't have an ID and you don't have a birth certificate and you don't have you have a horrible Corey, you have terrible credit, you don't have any rental history. So for a lot of my clients, I have to figure out how to manipulate this, the system to work for them, because they deserve housing. Everyone deserves, a place to live. So they come to me with sometimes what would seem like to me and you and people with, a certain amount of, normal privilege, like horrifying ordeals. And I just have to figure out, like, what's the best way to help you in the moment, So I guess it comes with a lot of tricks. a lot of tricks.
What was your best trick during that time of your journey? I'm not joking, I'm just teasing you now. I don't need to answer.
I mean, I will, but no, yeah.
I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there for people to wonder. What was your best trick at the time during that journey? Okay, let's leave people wondering.
Yes, please. Guess away.
You can tell me in private after. Send me a message. Okay, William, that was my...
Yes.
Right, last question for you is, tell us about your first kiss and your first love.
My first kiss was with this sweet girl. I'm going to try to tell the story without giving away too much information, but I was at a party. It was freshman year, and it was my first high school party, and we were camping outside, and this girl was attracted to me, even though I had just come out. I was out, and I remember her just coming over. She was like, "Oh my God, you're gay," and I was like, "Yeah," and she was like, "I've always wanted to." She was like in high school. She was a freshman in high school. And she was like something like, "I always wanted to be with a gay guy." And I was like, "Okay." And there was alcohol involved, and I remember, it was, it felt like it was fun. We kissed, we made out, we did some other things, and I don't think I ever saw her again. It was, we were making out in a tent. It started raining. Some dogs got loose and ran over our tent, and that's all. And then I probably blacked out because I was like freshman drinking I don't know. But I don't remember the rest of the night. But then I never saw this girl again. My first love, I don't know if it was love or it was obsession or lust or what it was. But when I was in high school, I do remember the first person that I had like that sort of like emotional attachment towards. And his name was Zach, and he played the trumpet and the tuba in marching band. And he was super like flamboyant. He was a couple years older than me, and he was very geeky. And I just remember thinking, wouldn't it be nice if we were boyfriends? And he wasn't out. He at the time he had a girlfriend, and I believe since he has come out, but I was out, and I was just like, why can't I just felt like I was the only freshman, sophomore or person in my high school who was out. It was so lonely, and there were all these guys who I did marching band with or who I did theater with there who I was like, they've got to be gay. I remember thinking like, these guys have got to be gay. There's no way that like I'm the only gay guy here, you know? And, you know, through the magic of Facebook and Instagram, we find out, you know, who people have become, or what pieces of ourselves that we are finally able to free. And yeah, looking through, like finding them years later, I, you know, discovered that many of them probably were, you know, homosexual or gay or whatever, queer, during high school, just didn't, you know, wasn't able to say it. So I'll always have, whenever I think of Zach, his name was, I'll always remember those intense like feelings that I had for him. Yeah, in high school, in freshman, sophomore year.
Hopefully this interview gets to him somehow, so he'll be very happy to know that. Very sweet.
I would totally yeah, if I don't know where he is, and I don't know, you know, I hope his life is great. But yeah, I would, if I ever saw him again or met him, I would totally, you know, you gotta, it's fun to let people know who you were and what you were really feeling during those times, because, you know, in high school, even in college a little bit, there was so much, you know, pressure to keep it all inside and to not show people and tell people who you really were, and what you were really going through and what everyone was really thinking. So it would be fun to just be like, I had such a crush on you.
Zach, hopefully you are watching the interview right now, for sure. Hopefully, let's make it happen. Let's get this interview to him somehow. Right, Joey, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words, and you just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay?
Okay.
Let's start. So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. Let's start with family.
Mother.
Money.
Misery.
One word for love.
Love.
Yeah.
Partner.
Life.
Fulfillment.
How about sex?
Pleasure.
Politics.
Fight.
Religion.
Respect.
Fear.
Barrier.
Friendship.
Connectivity.
Desire.
Fantasy.
Regret.
None.
Success.
Give.
One word for wish.
Dream.
Happiness.
True.
One word for Maine.
Vacation.
One word for Boston.
Small.
And the last one now, USA, one word.
Adaptability.
Sure. Actually, one more. One word for Rio de Janeiro.
Future.
I can see some plans there going through your mind right now.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, let's pretend I'm going to meet your lovely boyfriend for a coffee. Yeah, I'm going to ask him, tell me the most beautiful thing about Joey and tell me something that he still needs to work on, to improve on. What he would say?
I know what the first thing he would say was the most beautiful thing about me, but the second most beautiful thing about me that would be my personal growth and development over the past 4 years. 4 years since we've known each other. I think the thing I have to work on or continue to improve or grow upon is my reactivity, my response to triggers.
So again, you're gonna let the people wonder what was the number one, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you like to leave those wonders.
Yes.
Right, I'm gonna be thinking, oh my God, what was that? What was the favorite thing about him? Anyway, right, let's play now. Joey and the Magic Box, and you can ask me a question. Right, but before you ask me the question, tell me what's your favorite Portuguese word?
Energia.
Wow, good one, very good. You can ask me a question now, Joey.
What was your family life like when you were growing up?
My family? Right, good question. I grew up in a family where I didn't have, let's say, we are not open about talking about things, yeah? I remember growing up, we didn't have much talk about, as you said, about sex or about, you know what I mean? Those things that come to us as we're growing up, those questions that you don't have an answer for. And sometimes, you know, you don't feel open to ask your mom, your dad. You feel like you learn on your own. You kind of learn at school, you learn with friends, you learn with life. But at the same time, saying that, my parents, they always, when I look back now, actually at the time I didn't realize, but looking back now as an adult, my parents always left me and my sister like free, yeah? They let us be ourselves. I remember that everything that we wanted to do, they literally said, okay, as long as you're not hurting people, as long as you are safe with yourself, it's okay. Go if you do mistakes. I remember having those talks sometimes. If I did something wrong, I remember my dad's always kind of put me on the side and tried, sometimes, not always, but most of the time, trying to show me the message behind, yeah? Also, they never kind of push us to do anything. For example, going to the church, I remember as a child, I remember my mom actually, she thought that I would be a priest because I loved going to the church. I was going to the church all the time. And I don't remember one day that she said, okay, you should go to the church or you must go to the church. I don't remember, even my dad as well. So they never had this way of like pushing us to do things because of the society or because religion or because anything. So looking back now, I realized that me and my sister were literally free. We could be ourselves. We could express ourselves. Of course, until a certain point, because we didn't have much information, something that we couldn't talk about it. I never had like open conversations with my dad about sexuality, about anything. So, but even though, you know, we were free. We had this freedom about, you know, like going after our desires, our dream. We could meet people. There's no like judgmental place around us. You know what I mean? We could like hang out with any of our friends. They never told us, oh, never go with these people because of this or because of that. So that was something that when I look back, I'm like, wow, I was very lucky to have that, you know, brought up like environment. Yeah. Those, you know, they are not my parents. I grew up in a household where my parents, they were always working. Yeah. So I have this, I got that from them because I love working. I love being in movement. I love being learning. And I got from them. I don't remember one day that we had we had a meal together. Yeah. And I remember saying that is what you don't have it, you don't miss it. Yeah. So for me, it was something normal. Like, we never sat down together in a table to eat together, to talk about our day, to talk about anything. We never had that. So I never miss it at the same time as well, because I never had it. But as an adult, I understand now how important that is. But I wouldn't change anything because it built the person I am right now. And I'm so happy the way I am, the way I approach life, the way I wouldn't change anything. They were there for us. And I think that was the most important thing growing up for me.
That's so beautiful. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Back in Brazil, very hot when I was born. Yeah. Joey, did you enjoy the interview? Did you have a good time?
I sure did. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much for being kind. Thanks for being sweet, and also for being open as well. I think people out there, they appreciate a lot when people, they are themselves and they share information, or you just talk about life overall. And I think talking about life encourage other people as well of being themselves. And sometimes, you know, seeing other people talking about, as you said in the beginning of the interview, talking about something that you live with since as as you're born, and something that you live with. You have no idea how much you've encouraged people to understand that you are there, happy, living a life. You know what I mean? And I think it's a good thing that when you share those let's say challenges in life, or things that we face every day, and comforts other people for sure. Yeah, thanks so much. But before you go, I would like you to share a positive message or something that you live by.
I love this quote. I'm not sure whose rendition of this quote it is, but it's basically that forgiveness is letting go of the hope that the past could be any different. And I think for me, that quote drives home the fact that we live in this moment, and whatever we've done in the past, whatever other people have done for us, we can't hold on to it, because it'll just endure our suffering. But if we can let go of what things have happened to us, and the people who we think have hurt us, and maybe they have hurt us, I think we will find a lot of enjoyment in this life.
Very beautiful. Thank you so much. Muito obrigado. Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah.
Have a nice day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.